MHM is a strategic audience insight agency in the UK, although we have offices in New Zealand and Australia and we work internationally, and I've done a fair bit of work in Germany as well. We work exclusively in the arts and cultural sector. Can people hear me? Yeah, good. Yeah. We work exclusively in the arts and cultural sector, and our job is researching audiences and helping organisations understand their needs and their motivations in order that they can reach more audiences and wider audiences. So I spend a lot of time thinking about music audiences. I am a passionate attender of concerts myself. I have a degree in classical music, and we've done a lot of research in this field. Today, the very existence of our orchestras and our ensembles and our organisations has audiences at its heart. Whether through choice or through circumstance, audiences have become part of our business models, but more importantly, they have to be a central part of our philosophy. But I don't believe that should mean losing sight of artistic vision. Marketing is not a necessary evil to counter artistic dreams. Marketing should be a way of helping us realise our dreams. So I don't think the job of the arts marketer is really to dictate the programme. It's to develop an audience that will support and follow and enjoy and engage with that programme. And a piece of really, really passionately held advice: never underestimate the intelligence of your audiences. They may have less experience and less knowledge than you, but they are just as smart as you are. You just have to ask them, what do you get out of going to classical music concerts? And they will tell us, you and what you do. You provide perfect moments by the bucketful. You provide altered state interludes, pure escapism, spine-tingling moments of live experiences, nuggets of new and wonderful wisdom, unalloyed joy, celebration. You provide unforgettable first dates. You make people more interesting to sit next to at dinner parties. You do, and you can, improve the quality of people's lives, and they recognise that. But we believe that organisations must be, in order to be successful, firmly held on to those artistic visions and those artistic principles, but at the same time respect the capacity of the audience, respect that they can have a genuine response to your work, and you need to be genuinely curious about them. Most orchestras, present company accepted I hope, are busy practicing audience underdevelopment. The problem is that orthodox arts marketing principles mean that we market to the same people over and over again with a similar kind of offer. It's a very appealing approach because it's so easy. It's seen as a way to get more people in for little effort, but if we want to grow and develop our audiences, this approach will always disappoint you. Rather than just being efficient, we need to be more effective. We need to reach out to more people, wider people, different kinds of people. And the truth is, there is a huge reservoir of potential audiences out there. People who attend maybe infrequently, or they're possibly latent, passive, ex-classical music attenders, but they are open to persuasion. But we, as marketers, routinely ignore them in favour of looking at the most recent habits of the most recent attenders. So, I'm going to show you some data. Our efforts in the UK, this really frustrates me, our efforts tend to focus on two extreme kinds of audience marketing. We target the usual suspects, the people that already come, the people that know what they like. And then we swing to the opposite extreme and we spend money investing in one-off audience development and outreach campaigns aimed at the actively resistant. In the middle of these two extremes, however, there is a huge potential who could become the audiences of the future. We need to find a way to be genuinely relevant to their lives, and that's what we're failing to do. This graph is from research we've done in Germany into the culture market. This is classical music. And it shows us the proportion of people who attend any kind of culture that went to classical music in the last 12 months in Germany. That's actually a slightly higher figure than if you look at this data for the UK. But this graph shows us These are the people that haven't been in the last year, but have been much longer ago than that. And also in the green, light green, those people who haven't been to a classical music concert, but would really consider going to one. They say, yes, I would go to one in the future. This is a massive number of people that it would be idiotic for us not to focus on. There's more people in the lapse and potential market than there is in the very recent market. The sector, I'm going to say this, is in grave danger, and we cannot go on engaging with just ageing audiences with such short-term strategies. So how are we going to reach this potential market? Well, for starters, they're not all the same. I hate to state the obvious, but they don't have the same reasons for not coming, just as the people who do come don't have the same reasons for coming. People who go to concerts have all sorts of different reasons for enjoying it, so not all non-attenders are the same either. And I'd also like to suggest that it's not that the non-attenders are actively not coming because we exclude them. They're quite happy. They're sitting at home now, not going to your concert halls. We've simply failed to give them a really compelling reason to come. The question here is wrong. It's not why don't they come, it's why should they? We have failed to give them a compelling reason. And it's not as simple as say, well, we'll just sell harder, we'll put adverts in different places where more people will see them. We can't advertise our way out of this situation. We have to be more relevant to their needs. And if we're going to provide them a compelling enough reason to spend their money and their time in our company, we're going to have to demonstrate that we understand them, and we're going to have to use that understanding to shape how we present what we do. What drives them? How do they value music? How do they want to be made to feel in the evening? How do they want to respond to music, and what do they listen to? What formats would they find satisfying or rewarding? We won't find the answer to any of those questions in the box office data. Just as analysing box office will tell someone what they've been to, but it won't tell us why they've been to it and what they want to get out of it. And neither will someone's age or their wealth instruct us as to the role that music might play in their lives. Instead, we have to look at deeper values, motivations, attitudes, and what people need to get from music. Our research into audiences and what motivates them has led us to create an arts segmentation system so that we can target different kinds of people based on these values and attitudes and how they want to feel, and so we can craft messages that will resonate with a wider market. It's called Culture Segments, and we've published it for free because we want the whole sector to be able to use it. And we've done this research in Germany as well as 11 other countries. We haven't done it in France yet, but we would love to. This is a psychology model which shows how we think about audiences. Rather than grouping people by what they do, by their consumer behaviour, we look at their values and their attitudes. These are the things that inform their behaviour. If we can understand and group people by these areas, then we will be able to penetrate and inform our strategies to reach people in that potential market so we can resonate with them. So in the time that I don't have time to go through all of these segments. I'm going to give you a flavour, and this is the web address so you can download them. There are 8 segments, and they are named after the kinds of experiences they seek to have. If you haven't already, if you visit our website there, you can answer a survey. It takes about 2 minutes, and it will tell you which of the culture segments you fall into. So I'll just give you a flavour with a couple, 2 or 3 of them. We have the enrichment segment. By the way, this data is the proportion of the market in Germany that are in this segment. So 7% of the culture market in Germany is enrichment. Enrichment are looking for nostalgia, connection with the past, relevance to their personal experiences, and they want to have enrichment. That's why they're called that. They're not interested in what's new and fashionable. They prefer establishment. They prefer the traditional. They're quite risk averse. And when it comes to classical music, they probably listen to it all the time at home. But they need persuaded that it's worth spending money to go and see it live, and to be reminded that live music has a benefit over recorded music. We have the expression segment, which is a large proportion of the German market, 15%. Expression are creative and enjoy participation. As much as consumption, they want to discuss it and get involved, and they might want to have a go and be able to have the bonnet lifted on the artistic process. They look to connect with people and build communities and connect with people through music, and they love connecting with artists. They're fantastic for marketers because they spread word of mouth, so they help do the marketing for you. They really dislike exclusivity because they want more people to engage. These will be great advocates for classical music. We have the Stimulation segment, who in part attend for the social experience. They want to ensure that they remain the ones in the know. But in classical music, this can be a problem. They sometimes worry that classical music is a bit samey or nondescript, and they need a hook or a twist or an interesting context that will make them go, that's not just a classical music concert, that's a concert with something to give me, something to tell me, or it's an unusual, maybe cross art forms, or it's an unusual venue. So a twist or a hook or an unusual treatment will get them in. The Essence segment, these are people, this isn't really people for whom culture is what they do, it's part of who they are. They're sophisticated, inner-directed, that means stubborn, don't like to listen to the views of other people. They're very, very confident. They find marketing really patronising. They think it's really salesy and they don't believe a word of it. So although they'll be proactive in finding out what's on, and are probably on your websites now, if you send them marketing messages, they'll ignore them thinking they're for other people. So there is a challenge there. They're the ones that ring up and complain that they didn't know you had a particular concert on, despite the fact that you told them about it. I won't go into all of the segments. We have Affirmation, who Affirmation probably wish they're a bit more like Essence, but they're too self-conscious. Entertainment, who are looking for more large mainstream events, perspective and release. You can read all the profiles on our website. So what can this be used for? We can use it to prioritise priority segments where we think the most opportunity for our audience development growth is. We can tailor our marketing messages, different messages, depending on who we're trying to target. And importantly, I think it provides a common language to talk about audiences between orchestras, between different people in different departments in your organisations. And we can analyse where to place an advert by segment. This is data from our Germany research which shows which titles each of the segment is more likely to read in terms of media. So one very quick example of this in practice, because I'm conscious of time, The Rest is Noise was a festival that ran throughout 2013 at the South Bank Centre, and the London Philharmonic Orchestra had 30 concerts, so the backbone of that programme. Now, it took audiences on a chronological journey of 20th century music. This is the business end of the classical music repertoire, and they knew they were going to have to attract serious numbers of new audiences, not their core, much safer audiences who typically turn out for Brahms and not much more. So, there was a whole programme of accompanying talks and events, films, debates that dramatised the century's massive upheaval in terms of politics, race, gender, faith, social politics, and so on. So the LPO used culture segments and identified their core audience largely fell into the Essence segment, but they thought this is an opportunity to grow their audiences in Stimulation because there's so much interesting hooks and twists to this. And they thought this will stand out, this isn't just an average concert series, there's something in it for them. So they created this, which is a fictitious newspaper called The Centurion. It was published throughout the year, and it moved on to the decade that the concerts were relevant to at the time. It was brilliant for Essence, actually. That's not who it was aimed at, because it didn't have a word of marketing in there. There was no sales slick. So they read it and found it informative and interesting, and turned up to the concert. So they weren't put off like they are by most marketing. But more importantly, it was quirky, different, cool, out of the ordinary, and gave that Stimulation audience all the reasons to come beyond just what the repertoire was. And they, as you can see, carried forward their kind of fun theme by sending out distributors in costume that related to the year that the paper was relevant for. So, how did they do? They distributed it to the places they knew that these segments would hang out. Well, their target was to do not too much worse than their normal performances. So normal performances which had mainstream repertoire, they did 77% capacity. But for this season, they actually maintained 79% across the whole year. And this is because they engaged audiences on the basis of why they would want to go. They didn't just say, this is the concert, do you want to come? They actually got into the reasons, the motivations, the thing that was important to their target segment. Now, if their target segment had been expression, the campaign would have looked completely different. But they knew that they were going to be able to drive the Stimulation audience with this. They also engaged very well digitally, had lots of digital platforms and distribution of music digitally as well. And we can see that Twitter, actually started to talk about the marketing campaign, which pleased me a lot. So that is a whistle-stop tour, because I'm conscious that I've been given 15 minutes and you have food waiting for you over there. So I hope I've provided some food for thought, and something that can be discussed further in working groups. I'm really sad that I've literally come to Berlin for 2 hours, and I have to go home tonight. Well, I have to go home in a minute. But I want to urge you, as a group, to talk about audiences, to think about them, and not to think about them about how you're going to reach them because of their age and their wealth. Think about what they need. Think about how you can resonate with them. And my plea is also, you can't leave marketing to the responsibility of the marketing department. Everybody shapes the experiences you give audiences. So it's everyone's responsibility, regardless of your job, to think about and to respond to audiences and deliver powerful, resonant experiences. You know you do it. You do it all the time. I can't say how much I love going to concerts. It's one of the greatest parts of my life. But there are lots and lots of other people who really are open to this. Can you stop selling to me and start selling to some of them, and think about how you can meet those needs for them? Thank you.